not an elite fighter, and your power won't translate if you and him fought. Did you hear that? And what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I heard people reporting it and different things like that, and I really have no feelings towards it because, he's trying to psych himself up to believe something that he know him damn self that ain't true. That's why he didn't fight me, period. You know what I mean? You the one were asking about the money and is it real, but you let someone else run your career. If that was the case, then you would have been for me. It would have been no problem. You wouldn't. They wouldn't have tried to lowball me into a flat fee of $12 million, but give a Joseph Parker 33%.
Root is a.
So those are the words of Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder as he responds to Anthony Joshua's comments about him not being an elite fighter. My first thoughts, I think it was rather flat, to say the least. The response was flat, but he might have been after a training session because he's been training his ass off. So, and he's heard that about Joshua and he's like, hey, well, I don't have any feelings about it, as you heard him say, and he's trying to psych himself up, and he said if that was the case, he would have been fought me. He was the one that was concerned about money. He was the one that had someone else running his career. Let me stop there. Okay. The money. Okay. We keep going back to that when we get with Joshua and Deontay Wilder. I must remind people something very, very important. Deontay Wilder, in 2018, when they offered him that 12.5, he called that 12.5 slave wages. And again, you have to be sensible. You can't be like a side taker. You just look at things how they are. Okay, you made $900,000 because now you're starting to talk about dollars and cents. A lot of people are, why are you in their pocket? No, because it's important. It's relevant on why we're speaking about fight purses and what a person makes. Their marquee value versus someone else's. Now, Wilder himself brought up money. Wilder himself wanted, I want to split. But then if you wanted to fight him that bad, why didn't you just take the split? Like if you wanted to fight, you said if he wanted to fight you so bad, he would have been fought you. But then he offered you money and you didn't take it. Not him. Counterpunch. You didn't take the money. You could have taken the money. You could have taken the 12.5. You never seen that shit ever in your life. You know what I mean? So who was really more concerned about money? You or him? Because they offered you money. Now, let's not even talk about the 50 million. Oh, you got 24 hours to decide on an email with no contract bullshit. Let's not even go there. I just counterpunched that all in one sentence because that's all it was. An email, no contract, say yes or no. You got 24 hours though. Solid partner, you don't have to know that either. We're going to buy you out of your Sky Sports. Like, you're going to buy someone out of their contract so you can fight them, but then you didn't want to take $12 million to fight them? You know what I mean? Or 15, or whatever it was at the time. No, 15 came after the $50 million situation because that's all it was. But then again, like, who didn't want to fight who? No, they tried to lowball me. Well, obviously, if someone lowballed you, obviously, you need to take it to call their bluff, to see what they say. And on top of that, if you look at Deontay Wilder and Andy Ruiz, what's the difference between the two? The difference was Deontay Wilder was the WBC heavyweight champion of the world with probably about 5-6 title defenses at that time in 18, because he fought Ortiz, he fought Tyson Fury, he fought Dominic Brazil, he fought Ortiz again, so that's 4. Okay, so that was he had 6 title defenses at that time. Andy Ruiz was a challenger. That's the difference, okay? But they offered him $7 million. And we want to talk about Parker, 33%. No, they're not going to give you 33% because of 33% of that, he still got more money. Wilder still got more money than Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker ended up with like 6 million or 8 million. So if you're looking at a dollar amount, a flat rate would come out better, right? So again, he would have been fought me. No, if you would have accepted the money, he would have fought you. You didn't accept the money. And in fact, you start talking about shit that don't have anything to do with boxing. Oh, that's slave wages. Now you're going into slavery. Why are we talking about that bullshit? But that's what he did. He's the slave master, milking Annabelle, which is Anthony Joshua, the cow, you know what I mean? Like that type of shit. That's where his mind's at. But a lot of people are stuck in the past. So if those people are stuck in the past and they're real passionate about that bullshit, that's what happens. And that's what he did. He brought something that wasn't relevant to boxing. So you came with a totally different angle, and all that really is a what? Distraction. Okay, all right, you're talking about splits. Dude, what have you made? Floyd Mayweather did the same shit with Pacquiao. Hey, I'm going to give you $20 million, then I'm going to give you another $20 million. Now, was it the right thing to do at the time? Who knows? Nobody will never know because Pacquiao didn't take the deal. But Pacquiao had Bob Arum as his manager. Anthony Joshua had Eddie Hearn. Now, had someone else run his career, okay? Let's stop that shit. You had Shelly Finkel. You had JD's. You had Lou DiBella. Like, you had these guys running your career. The same guy that managed Vladimir Klitschko, that would never let you fight Vladimir Klitschko, and you sitting there scratching your head like, why did I never get that fight? Because that was told to me. I was told that Wilder wanted that fight. But for the record, I was told he wanted that fight and he never got that fight. So whose fault is that? The people that managed you. So, again, Shelly Finkel, management. Eddie Hearn, management. Right? After those, the 12.5, the 15 million, the email, like, there were still many deals, contracts that were sent over to Wilder's team. They didn't want to because all they needed, and they got what they wanted, was Tyson Fury, a tune-up, a touch-up, an easy touch, a bald-headed ex-coke head, sugar powder, nose, booger sugar, nose candy, snorting, drunk. That been sitting on his ass for 3 years, that used to be 400 pounds. That's what they wanted. They didn't want Anthony Joshua no more. They didn't want that. So what did Anthony Joshua do? Fight is mandatory. Oh, he's ducking. No, you don't duck if you're the unified champion, which how would Deontay Wilder would know what the fuck that's like? He's never been a unified champion. He's just been one from a sanctioned body that is known to be cheats that never made him fight his mandatories except one time, and that one time it was made up. So stop. What else you got? He don't believe that. Well, he said the same thing about Tyson Fury when Tyson Fury said he was going to knock him out, didn't he not? Tyson Fury don't even believe that. And then what happened? Tyson Fury whooped that ass. So where are we at now? Again, it sounded flat. It sounded like, hey, I went back to the beginning when I heard Joshua say that I'm not an elite fighter. If I'm Deontay Wilder, I want to prove to these guys and myself that I am an elite fighter, right? At the end of the day. So, concluding this, him saying Joshua, and I don't think Joshua's really capping. Joshua thought and looked at the dominance of Tyson Fury on how he got beat. And it happens a lot, though, because to be fair, Deontay Wilder said more harsh shit about Joshua when he lost. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like these guys they ain't friends, right? So, Wilder said a lot of things about him too. So I think this is just a part of that. But because of that beatdown that Deontay Wilder took, he's lost respect from guys like Anthony Joshua. That's why Anthony Joshua believes now that he's not an elite fighter, throwing with that one hand, and that's going to take him around the world. Obviously, it didn't. So that's why you think he's training like a motherfucker now, because he knows he needs more than the right hand. That's why Malik Scott's there. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Deontay Wilder responding to Anthony Joshua's claims that he's not an elite fighter. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.